Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in another Fortnite video. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Deagle in Fortnite, and as well how to have 100% accuracy with it, or just how to get your accuracy better. I'm very good with the Deagle. I've been using it a ton of my gameplays. I usually use it over the SMG, because I use the Deagle or the SMG, and I've been using the Deagle a lot more, and I've been very accurate with it. I've been hitting those long shots, close range shots, point blank, and I'm going to give you guys all of my tips and tricks to help you guys out improve your Deagle aim, and just overall get better with the Deagle. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you need to do is to drop a like on this video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on my notifications, and leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, make sure you guys have me supported as a creator on the item shop. All you need to do this is go to the item shop, hit X, type in Young Humor. That's all you have to do, and you will have me added and supported as a creator. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so the Deagle in Fortnite has been an absolute monster ever since they updated it, because no one ever really used it too much. It was really good when it first came out, but then they nerfed it pretty bad to the point where it was doing like 38 damage at range, and for being a single shot gun, only hitting 38 damage from that range really isn't worth it, so no one even used it. But now it does 75 damage at close range and 150 damage for headshots, and at those longer ranges it does 50 damage for a body shot and 100 damage for a headshot. So a really good gun. So if you get a tag on them from the longer ranges, you're still hitting for 50 damage. If you can get a headshot from that range, you're hitting them from over 100. So a really good gun and a very powerful gun to use. And as well, it is a one shot to wooden walls, and if it's just a just placed wall for either of brick or steel, there's also going to be a one shot to that. It's not going to be a one shot if it's fully built, but if it's just starting out, a Deagle is going to one shot that wall and get rid of it instantly. So overall, the Deagle is a really good gun to use, and if you want to get really good at Fortnite, it's just a weapon that you need to have. So here I am in creative, and I'm going to give you guys some of my best tips when it comes to the Deagle, and just different things to keep in mind when using the Deagle to have the best accuracy possible and hit all the shots that you normally hit. So when it comes to the Deagle, there is a lot of things that you need to keep in mind when using it, and you definitely have to play off of different situations, and there's a lot of situations where I would use the Deagle in, and then other situations where I wouldn't. And typically when I use the Deagle, I kind of use it at those medium to maybe even longer range shots. So if someone's at that medium range to longer ranges, I would use the Deagle a little bit more than just point blank, just because I can have that first shot accuracy with it, and as well I can line up my shots pretty well from those longer ranges. And as well, the pump Deagle is an absolutely insane combo. It's very good because pretty much everyone in this game builds out of wood. So every time someone places a wall, I can instantly pop it out with my Deagle. I can pop it, then pull out my shotgun right away, or I can pop it, put my wall, and then edit play on them. So there's a lot of different things you can use with the Deagle. So using the Deagle in Fortnite is a must-have if you want to get very good at this game really quickly. And just a quick tip when it comes to shooting with the Deagle, it can be a little bit more difficult if they're running from side to side, if they're jumping. But if you want to headshots with the Deagle, what you can do for aim assist is you can look directly above their head, or just a little bit off to their head, above it. And typically once you aim down sights for the first time, it's going to come directly on their head. And when you're using the Deagle, I would say one of the best tips I can give you guys, and a tip that you always need to keep in mind when you're going into the game and using the Deagle, is when you're using the Deagle, you always want to have first shot accuracy every single time, because I guarantee you guys when you're using the Deagle, if you're not using that first shot accuracy, I can guarantee you you're not going to be hitting your shots, because bloom in this game, it can be really bad for a lot of players, but at the same time it can be really good. And when it comes to bloom with the Deagle, I haven't had the best luck. I usually screw myself over, so making sure you always ADS with the Deagle and have that first shot accuracy is a must have, and it's going to be very effective for hitting your shots and as well being very accurate. So definitely use first shot accuracy if you guys don't already use it with the Deagle. It's a must have for me. And when you want to hit your shots with the Deagle, this is exactly what you want to do, is you want to line up your shot, and then once you have your shot lined up in a way, you want to use your first shot accuracy and as well use aim assist to line up your shot. So once you have your target in mind, you want to ADS really quickly and then shoot your shot with the Deagle. And I'm going to show you guys in a quick example and a quick clip of it. That's a very good clip. I dinked a guy from like 178 meters or something like that, really far range with the Deagle, and he was gliding away. And it was a really good showcase on exactly how to line up the shot and as well how to execute and hit them from the longer ranges. So here's the clip. I am in retail. I made a guy really weak. I believe he rifted away, and as he was rifting away, I hit him in the head with a headshot from 188 meters with the Deagle. And there was one other thing in that clip that I didn't mention yet that I need to talk on. And if you want to have that first shot accuracy as fast as possible, right when you go to line up your shot, you want to crouch first. And once you crouch, if you guys don't already know, you actually get your first shot accuracy a lot faster than if you're already standing up, if you come off a sprint or a jog. So if you're already crouched, your first shot accuracy is going to come up almost instantly. If you move a little bit, it might take like a second to line up. But otherwise, if you're standing still and crouched, you're going to have that first shot accuracy immediately, which is going to be a huge advantage on you because you're going to be able to line up your shot very quickly and get that quick shot off, and you're going to be able to outbeat your opponent. And just one thing to keep in mind when it comes to using it in actual games, being crouched and being standing still is going to be a major disadvantage to you at certain moments, because if they're already looking at you with the sniper rifle, standing still can be very risky. So something you want to do when maybe they're in a little bit of a distance and they're coming towards you, or maybe even if they're running away from you in the distance and they don't exactly see you, so you have a little bit of time to crouch and line up your shot and get that shot off. Otherwise, it can be a little bit risky because if you're standing still, it is very easy for the other player to tag you and get those shots off on you. So you have to use it sparingly, and you have to use it in the right situations. And one thing you can do, and I use this a ton in my games, is so I would be on a ramp, and they would think I'd be on the ramp, and I would go to the bottom of that ramp, and I would kind of peek around the right side of that corner because I can get that shot off if they're peeking really hard. Because if I was peeking over the top of the ramp, and if I go all the way to the bottom and peek around the side of it, most of the time they're not going to be ready for it, and you're going to be able to get at least one shot off before they notice it. And there's something important that I want to talk about. If you see a player in the distance and they're running from side to side, right to left, or left to right, and when they're running from this angle, it can be a little bit more tricky to line up your shot, and here's exactly why. So if you just go for the ADS and take a shot, if you guys can see, every time that they ADS and they're running to the left or right, you can kind of see how it trails behind them a little bit. So if I go for the shot, it's going to trail behind them. So what you want to do is when they're running right to left, you kind of have to track them a little bit. So you want to use your aim assist very well. So you want to use your aim assist, but at the same time, you want to be able to track the other player, because if you just rely on aim assist, you're going to shoot behind them every single time. Because if they're sprinting on the right direction and you go to aim assist, it's going to aim assist on them, but if they keep on running, your aim assist is not going to catch up because it's not completely overpowered and strong. So what you have to do is you have to track your opponent as they're running across, and once you track them and use your aim assist, you're going to be able to hit those shots every single time. And when it comes to those players at the longer ranges, the exact same thing applies, and it really isn't as hard as it looks to hit those players from those ranges, because when they're at those ranges, it's the exact same thing if they were up close using that first shot accuracy. The only difference is their reticle and their hitbox is going to be a lot smaller because it's going to be very far away. But if you still aim near them and you ADS and you take the shot, it's going to line you up perfectly, and you're going to be able to hit those shots very easily. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be able to hit that shot. So it's the exact same thing as close range when it comes to far range, just lining up your shot. So if they're running right to left, they're building up. So you want to be able to track your opponent, and then as soon as you track them, once you're on them, you want to un-ADS and then ADS, take that shot. And you guys can see right there how accurate I was. I was able to hit 4 consecutive shots, and as well, since the other player wasn't even looking at me, I was able to crouch and get that first shot accuracy immediately before I took the shot. And when it comes to tracking someone when they're in their glider or far away, it's a lot more difficult. You're not going to be able to just abuse aim assist and just completely destroy them that way. It's not going to work the way you want it to, but still, if they're moving in a straight line or going a straight direction, it's going to be a lot easier to hit. And that's just the tips and tricks you guys should know. From the other perspective, if you're gliding in on someone who has a Deagle or maybe even an AR, if you keep changing your directions, it's going to be very difficult to hit, especially for console players, because their aim isn't going to be as good. So if you're trying to use aim assist on players who are constantly moving different directions than a glider moving very quickly, it's going to be very difficult to hit your shots. And that's just a really good tip on both sides. If they're moving towards you in a straight direction, you're going to be able to use aim assist and take out the other player pretty simply. But from the other perspective, if you're the one gliding in, you definitely want to change your directions as much as possible so they can't pop you with the Deagle. And that's very true in the competitive lobbies, because trust me, when you're going against sweaty players, you're going to get straight lasered every single time if you try to go through the air and you're not constantly moving directions or have a goal in mind. Because if you're trying to keep up in the air, I guarantee on players who have very good accuracy, you're going to get dinked in the air every single time. But everything I said in this video are tips that I use every single game with the Deagle. It's very helpful. And just one thing to keep in mind, I typically don't use the Deagle close range unless I'm trying to go for a flashy play. Because like I talked about earlier, you always want to try to have that first shot accuracy, because bloom can really be a pain when using the Deagle. And with that being said, that's wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys liked it. And if you guys could, drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Turn on my notifications so you're notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I will see you next video.